Okay, hi everyone. Today's class is going to be majorly on coding. We are going to be looking at C# code. Now we are going to take the code from the simplest part. Let's see how it is. How can I write the simplest code? Hello world. How can I display that on my application? And gradually we move to other parts, how we can declare data type and every other thing. We move on gradually. Now, today's class is going to be very interesting, and that's the reason why I want us to be attentive very well. I'm going to be using Visual Studio 2019. That's what I'm going to be using. So I'm going to create a new project. So I'll go to create new project. So from create new project, I want to create a console application, a console project, because with that, it's very easy to navigate, to show us in a simple way how coding look like. We are going to be creating a console application. So select the first one to be C#. That's the first one will be C#. Then the second one will be Windows. Then the last one will be console. All right. So when you have the console, we have it in two types. We have the one that can help you to run in .NET Core, and we have another one to create a project in command line. So let's try the second one. Let's see what happened in the second one. Now, I just click on console app .NET framework. That's the one I click after I've picked my console. So I click on it, and I come to this side. I click on next. When you click on next, then the next page that come up, just give your application, give it a name, give the project name, give it a name. So I want to call my own coding, let me say, I'll just call it code sample. That's the name of what I want to call the project that I want to do. Let me make this a capital S. And try and navigate to the root folder. Inside it, I can do a right click. And I can create a folder there. I'll do a right click inside that folder there, and I call it a code sample. But this time around, I did not put a space. I put it together. Code sample. I try to create a folder inside it. So now, after I've created my folder like this, I'll just click on the folder. I'll click on it, as in I'll select it. I'll just click on it, and I'll come here, down here. I'll click on select folder. I'll select the folder. So when I click on select folder, it will return back into my application, meaning that if you see the root, I picked the root already of that folder that I create. So my project name, code underscore simple, but this one, the solution name, I'm not going to make it the same thing. I'm going to remove that underscore away. So that will be just a single word, code sample. I don't want it to be the same name. So I've removed the underscore away. I'm not going to check place solution and project on the same directory. I'm not going to check it. I'll leave it. And the framework we are going to be using for now, let's use 4.7.2. That's what we are going to be using. The same framework that is there. Then when you are done with that, then you click on create. By the time you click on create, it will now create the application for you. Let's wait for it. Okay, now that we have loaded the application, I've tried to increase the font as well so that we'll all see it very well. Now, let's try writing the simplest code that anybody can write. Hello world. How do I write hello world? Now, this is a console application. So we just want to try our hand in the coding. Let's see how it looks like. So I want to write hello world. That's the simplest code what they can write. So I want to type I'm going to type, because I'm on the console, the IntelliSense is going to work fine. I have my console dot write line, console dot write line, and I open a bracket, 2 brackets. Inside my bracket, I open the apostrophe and I write hello world. Hello world. Now, at the back of it, you can see there is an error sign at the back here. Close it. I just close it. Now, when I've done this, I need to now ask the console so that the console can read this out, so that I want to. Okay, I'm coming. Read key. So I close this with a semicolon. Now I just wrote a simple code hello world. Now if I run this should be able to display hello world to me. This is a simple or a typical console C# code. How simple it is. Now for me to run this, I click on the start button that is here. There's a start button here. I click on it and the system is going to do a roll, and after all, it's going to display my solution. Now when you run the code, you are going to have your hello world, and the read key will be blinking. The read key helps to hold the page. Just help to hold the page. Fine. Now it is important to note that if you can write hello world, that means you can do another thing. So let's come back and quickly do a little adjustment on our code. Let me close out of this. I close out of this. So I can copy, or I come at the back here, I put a space in between them, and I type console dot let's write line again. Let's write line. Then I want to write the line and tell what is my name. So I open my bracket, I put the semicolon there, and I end it. Now in between here, I want to type my name is Samuel. That's my name. So let me just leave it like this. My name is Samuel. So I save this. I can click on the save button now. I save it and I try to run the code. Let me click on this start. I run it. So it should be able to load and display that. So let me bring up the screen. Now I have hello world. My name is Samuel Adeleke. So this is the simple form of you writing a C# code using a console app. Now, using a console app is very, very, very simple to use. If I close out of this, now we have, if you check from down here, we have using system collection. Now, these are all the namespaces. All these ones are fundamental. They are there. You don't need to touch them. Now, since this form we are looking at, if you check here, you can see it is the program.cs, meaning that is a class. This form, this page we are is a class, program.cs, and that reason why you see the class name loading here. Now it starts by opening the namespace close, open the namespace, it closes here, open the class, and the class open here. Now our static void main, that is where we put our code. Now all this, immediately you open your page, the page will have helped you to put all the fundamentals there. You just put your code in between them and you are fine, like what we have done now. And we've been able to write. If I have other story to write, maybe I want to tell you more about me, I can easily use method to go ahead and write it. But I'm going to leave it here. Let's check another level. What and what can we do? Now, let's assume we want to talk about data type. Data type. All right, as we want to talk about data type now. So what I want to do is that I want to comment this out. I want to comment it out. I will highlight everything, and I will come on top here. There is a sign somewhere here that look like a comment line. I don't know if you can see where my cursor is. I want to comment it out. That is just to comment it. We've commented that out. So it will put this double sign at the back like this. Even if you put it, it's going to be the same thing. Now, no, I'm not deleting. I just want to hold that. Now, what we want to do in our data type, let's try the first one. Let's try an integer. Let's try an integer. Let's try an integer. How does it look like? Now, imagine you want to take in a variable. You know, the hello world that you did, you've hard-coded that inside your code. But no, you want a user somewhere to type in something, and you want your code to take in that whatever your user type. So a user can type in numbers, can type in character, can type in alphanumeric, whichever one. So how do we now take care of a data type? So we have so many data types, but the first one I'm going to be looking at now is called integer. Integer means you want to take in a value, number. So how do we declare integer? In C#, you type int, what you are declaring, just give it any name. I'm declaring a num. I just type num, but I've put the data type integer. So then we know that integer is this num is integer. So I need to initialize it and say is equal to 0. And I'll close it. Now, I'm the one that just name it num. I can use anything there. I can use an alphabet, I can use anything. So but system will note that anything you put here is an integer. So I've not an integer. Now, and I said, okay, let's assume that my num is equal to, let's say it's equal to 30. And I close it. So I said, system, assume my num is equal to 30, meaning that maybe a user key in 30 right now, and I want to write that out. So I can have my console. I can have my console.writeLine, and I open my bracket, and I said, okay, system, whatever is inside num, can you write it out for me? So whatever value I put there, I want system to display it for me. So if I run this application now, I'm expecting this 30 to show. Because when we are writing hello world, we type hello world inside here. And it displays what we have inside, even though we've quoted it. But now I've put num here. So num ideally should be 30. So will my system identify it as 30? That's what we want to find out. So let me run this application. I've commented this out. So it's going to run this alone for us. So for this to work, let me just copy out this and I paste it here. Just to be able to hold the page for me. So I run this. Let's see what I'm going to have. Okay. From the page, now I have my 30. All right. Now that we've been able to display our int, now let's move on to another data type. We have so many data types. We've talked about int. So now I'm going to close this. I'm going to comment this out again. I'm going to comment this out. So we'll move on to another data type. Like I said, we have so many data types in the that we are going to be working with. So let's talk about double. Now, double as well is a data type. Anytime you want to use any word that's going to be something in decimal place. Integer are for figures that are without points, like 10, 20, 30 integers, 100, 1000 integer. But immediately you are going to be using 20.50, 20 point something. Immediately you are going to be having decimal place or points. You are going to use double. So double is used in that case. Now let's try out how double look like. So we are going to be working with double data type. I've commented the previous one out. So let's assume that you have money to deal with now. So most time we use double for money. So I'm going to declare I'm going to declare my variable. I said double, and I call it anything, but let me use money this time around. I said it's equal to 0. Now, knowing fully well that this is going to be taking a variable in point, I can have it in point 0 if I like, but just let me make it 0 for easy understanding. So I'm not going to say, okay, let's assume that the money now is equal to 100.50. So I close this. Like I said, money, anything we are declaring a double. So double can take this decimal place, even much more than 2 decimal place, to any level you want it. So now I can do a console now. I can do a console to write out that my money. So I can do a right line. So I open my bracket and I put the money inside. So with this now, the system should be able to display for me any value the money is having. So with that, I'm able to display. So I'm just closing out this red line. Okay, read key. And I'll close this out. All right, that's fine. So if I run this now, I should have this variable display for me, because double allows us. So I cannot use this for an integer. The system will complain. So let me run this now. Let's see. I've commented the upper one out. Let me run this. Let's see what we're going to have. So here now, I should have my value in money in decimal place. So I have 100.5. The 0 at the back doesn't really mean. You can remove it away. So I just have that. So moving on, we move on to other ones. Let's check the next one. Now let's try our hand on the bowling. Let's see how that one looks like. I have a sample code here. Let me just copy that and paste it here for us, and I'll explain that. Now let's declare a boolean. This is very easy to do. Now I declare a variable called boolean and I call it status. The same way I declare double and I put money there. So I declare a boolean. Boolean is a data type, and I call it status. Now the boolean takes true or false. That's what it takes, true or false. So I said the status is equal to true. Now let the system write out my status. So invariably, system will go and look for the variable of the status, which is true. It's going to display the true for me. So this is how simple this one is. So let me comment out this one. So that we can test the boolean. Let's see if truly this should give us the value of the status, which is true. True was given to us. So boolean is meant for true or false. There are some cases in which you use a checkbox or you use a radio button for true or false. You always use boolean at that level. All right, fine. Let me run this. Let's see what we are going to have. If I run this and I bring the window, now I have my true. It's telling me true here. Okay. Now, if that is fine, we're going to move to another data type now. Like I said, we have so many data types. Let's quickly check the next one. All right, moving on, we talk about string now. String, by the name, string takes in alphabet, sentence. You take it however you want to do it. So now let's type this out. Let's say I declare a string. And I call it any name. I call it GO. That's my string. And I said the GO is equal to, as a string, we don't initialize string with 0. Like all these ones initialize with 0. The one we have been doing, we say integer is 0. See the integer. We say num is equal to 0. But when you talk about string is not 0. Now we are going to put an empty double column like this. That's how to initialize string. Because I want to take in alphabet, I want to take in numbers. So I now said that GO is equal to, now I want to type something. Let's see. My name is Adeleke. Now, you see, it's giving me errors. I'm just having errors there. Now, the reason I'm having this error is that the system is telling me, this thing variable, or what are you trying to do? Now, to make the system understand that the variable is a string, I have to come in here, I have to quote it, put the double column there, let me put one at that end, and I'll put another one at this end. Now, the fight has stopped now. Second, now, okay, you want me to give all this string variable to this Go that is declared as a string? Now I can understand. So I'm saying my name is Adeleke. I am trying to learn. What am I trying to learn? I'm trying to learn C#. That is what I'm trying to do. My name, and I'm trying to learn C#. So let's see what will happen. I'll move on to the next line. So let my console dot write, let it display that for me. So my console should display this Go. I'm going to put Go inside now. Of course, I'm not going to put all the story. I put Go, display whatever Go is having, and I have to end it with a console. I end it with a console dot read key. So let me click from the IntelliSense and I close it up with semicolon. All right. So with this now, let me comment the previous one away so that there will not be interference. I copy that one away, and I try to check all things being equal. Then I click a start. So with this now, I should see my application displaying what I have in my string. So invariably, if you have a lengthy string to display, my name is Adeleke, I'm trying to learn C#. Now, even though I have a simple error here, I just changed that. Let me save that. So let me write it again. So this should be it should be AM anyway. So of course all those errors can be checked. Just save it. So now we move to another data type. Now we've been able to do about 4. Now let's see other ones. Or let's say we begin to merge the one we have done together. Let's match them together. Let's see what we can come up with. Okay. Let's see. Let's quickly do let's tax our brain a little bit. Let's do that. So let's see how our first sample work will look like. Let me comment this out. I want us to do something that will allow us to use all what we have been doing before. Let's put them together. Let me assume that I declare the string. Now I want to declare string, declare variable. I want to declare all of them together now, and I want to put them to use. Now follow me as I do that. Now I declare a string. Now I call that string, I call it CET is a string, and since it's a string I can initialize it to be 0. It's a string. I declare a double, and since a double I call it total. Since it's a double, it takes value in decimal place. I can initialize it to be 0. Then I close that. Now, from what we have before, I remember we have some vary from value. Now let me quote from what we had before. We have norm. I declare an integer called norm for us before. Integer norm. If you check the previous one we do, norm. So I want to call that norm, the value we call it before, I want to call it 30. I initialize as 30 straight. Again, from up there, we've initialized a double before, which is money. So I come to money again. Let me initialize that money back to 100.75 from the previous. You can see that. Okay. Now I want to say, okay, let's do a summation. Let's do something. Let's match them together. So I now write a code. I say, okay, I have another string. Let me come up here and put the string there. I call the string MESS, that is message, and I initialize it to be a string, to be double column, and I quote it. Now let me now put all those things into use. Now I've done declaring what I want to declare. Now let me put them to use. So let's say I said my MSE. My MSE up there is what? Is a string and is empty. And I say my MSE is equal to, I put a semicolon now, and I said the total value is equal to, I close this, I come here, I close this. Now I want you to see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do a simple program. Now the total value is equal to, now I want to assume that I want to add two values together. I want to add the norm and the money together. So let's say I come here and I said, how do I call it? I bring up the total that I call double here, and I said total, I've declared total already, and I said total is equal to, total is double. I said it's equal to norm plus, sorry, this is plus, norm plus money. That's what I said total is. So meaning that this total, you're going to add up something and going to put it here. So and I say, okay, system, when you done the adding, do a console for me. Do a console for me and write the line. Now what I want you to write is that I want you to write both MESS plus total, whatever you have in the two, write it together. So system should just merge the two together, write whatever you have there together. And again, it doesn't finish there. And I said, okay, by the time you finish writing that, I want you to put the string. I declare a string here. I call it CET. So I call the CET again. CET is equal to a norm. I've declared my norm before. My norm, I said plus, I want to do a double spacing here. I come back here. I put a plus, and I put money. I said plus, I put a double spacing here again. Now, I remember, let me assume that I want to do, okay, how do I call this? I want to add something to it. What I want to add to it, this will not end. I want to make it in a simple way. Now, I have go here. Remember, I have go here. Let me say I copy this, my string that I have here, go. I copied it from here, from there. I bring it down here. I paste it here. Let me uncheck it. Let me uncheck it. I'll uncheck it. And again, I declare a boolean for us there before. Let me copy the boolean. I copied the boolean, and I'll come down here. Let me use the boolean as well. I want to use the boolean for something. No, boolean is definitely true or false. I use the boolean there. Now, let me now merge the goal and the status together with what I'm doing here. So I'll say plus the status. So I'm plussing it with the status. I said plus double column. I now add the goal to it, the goal that I declare. So I said plus the goal. Now, I now close everything. Now, this one is very long. I deliberately make it long. So I now said console.writeLine. Console.writeLine. I want you to write whatever we have inside this CET for us. Write it for me. Let me see what we have inside it. And again, then let me close it now. Console.read key. Then I'll close this now. Now, in a way, by way of dry running, I can see that this MESS is saying the total value is, and this is total, adding the value together. So invariably, system should put whatever is here, it should replace it here, and put the summation of these two, which is total, and bring it here. That's what the system should do. Now, the other one that I wrote and make it complex, I have the number. Now, this one, because of the spacing here, it will not add all these things together. In fact, I can even help to put a comma there. Because because of the spacing here, system cannot add them together. It will not add them together. But let's just see what we have. I'm going to save this. I'm going to run it. Let's see what the code is going to, what the answer is going to give us. All right, so I have my answer here. So it's telling me the total value is equal to 130.45. Are we correct? So let me take this down a little bit. It has been able to add the two values together. I have my num, which is 30, and my money, which is 175. That means that is correct. I have them together, and it's saying 30, 175. True. My name is Adeleke Samuel. I'm trying to learn C#. So it was able to add up the down one as well together. So if you are writing your code and you are giving your system an instruction to do, it will definitely follow that instruction very, very well to give you whatever you ask it to do. So this CAT, I've been able to give us the answer. So, and we have it, we have all of them here. 30, comma, this and so with this now, I've been able to show you how to merge variable together, add variable together. This one doesn't add it together because we have declared a string in between. So with this is a simple output of a program. All right, moving on. Let's see something else again. Come on. Now, moving on, let's try and do operators and variables. Operators and variables and operators, they are very, very important. So I'm going to do some copy and paste here to be able to save some time. Copy and paste to be able to save some time. Operators, variables and operators, sorry. Now, we've been able to understand what int means. So I said value 1 is equal to 10. This one is meaningful. Value 2 is equal to 20. This one is clear. But I want us to now understand how operators and values work. Now, I'm going to paste some set of value now that we got us thinking. It is simple, but just look at it with a second eyes, then you get what you are trying to say. Now, I asked system, I said, write the value of value 1 plus value 2. System should write it. Of course, we know what the answer will be. So this one is just adding 10 and 20 together, we'll get the answer. Now I say, okay, if you have gotten that, system should write value 1 is less than value 2. Now, this is our operators now, all this sign, plus and minus, they are the operators that we have. Greater than, less than. No, if value 1 and value 2, which one is greater now? System should write that. And again, I now ask the system again to write the status. Now, we know fully well that boolean is for what? It's for true or false. Now, let me assume that I declare a boolean under here, and I say that my boolean is true. No, boolean is true or false. I've mentioned that before. And I said status here is true. Status is true. Now, I put a sign here. I said this exclamation is not. That's the meaning of that exclamation. When you see us put exclamation, is not. So, if you said the answer is yes, if you put exclamation, that means the answer is not yes. That's what that one means. I ask the system to write if the boolean is equal to, if it is not equal to yes. So what am I testing? I'm testing the upper one here. I said value 1 is less than value 2. Is it true? Value 1 is less than value 2. Of course it's true because 1 is lesser than 2. 10 is less than 20. So I'm saying if it is not equal to, with this, because I've declared my boolean to be true here. This thing is just an arithmetic. Just think as you are coding. Coding requires you to think. The thinking may not be too deep, but at least you have to think. Now again, you should write if this one is, if it's not equal to true, this is false, and this is equal to true. This is true. There's no exclamation. Now I want to see if what this will give if I try to run this. Actually, I don't know the answer, but it is just a test figure. So let's see the answer to this. Let's see what the system is going to load this. Now, I just did an answer here. So it's telling me that the summation, let's run it together. Let's run the two together. I want to collapse this a little bit so we can run it together. We try and run it together. So it's telling me the value of value 1 plus value 2 is equal to 30. That is correct. That is correct. And again, now the second line says value 1 is less than value 2. My answer said true. That's correct. Now the second line said is confirming. If it is not, our false here is true. So the opposite of the false, of the true, which is false, we have it here as false. And we now have our status, which is true. We have it here as true. I just tried to do some testing. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to follow through with this code as well, so as to see what the answer is all about. Now, in programming, you are meant to test so many arithmetic. Put the arithmetic together, add 1 and 2 together. Of course, you're going to get an answer. So this is how simple code can be, even though there are some very complex parts, very, very complex. We are going to get there. We are moving on gradually. Now let's talk about the looping statement. And under the looping statement, we will not stress ourselves too much. We are going to look at if statement. Looping statement, those are conditional statements. That means you have to satisfy some condition before something can happen. That's a looping statement. So system can continue to loop, continue to check the validity of a particular thing till the system allows that. Now let me by way of typing, let me type this one out. I'm declaring an int. I call my int, I call it a value, and I said it's equal to 11. I just declare my int, I call it 11. Now, I now want to run a looping statement on this value. Now, see what happened. I said if I put a bracket. If that value that I have, if it's less than 10, the value is less than 10. That is the if. So by the time I put if, I have to put a coiling bracket to put the condition. I've said if. So the system must test something. So what I have to test was what I'm writing now. I said console is testing console dot write line. So I'm testing. All right, I'm testing this. Okay, the value, and I said value is less than 10. So if we should test this variable, if it is less than 10, I'll come here because I'm using testing else. If it's not less than 10, that means you should do the second one, which is this console dot write line. So I have value is greater than 10. So I just key in a value. The value is 11. So I now check all my condition as against this. Now these two variables now, they can be variable completely. You know, I key in 10 here. This 10 can be a variable as well, but I want to use value just to confirm what I'm doing. Now let me close this. Okay, I need to put semicolon at the back here. Semicolon at the back here, and I need to close this so we can test how this code. Let's see if this code work. I have so I'm testing if my value, if it's less than 10. Of course, my value is 11. 11 is greater than 10. So what I should have is the value is greater than 10. That's what I should have as my answer. So I'm testing so if it is this, then to do else it will do this. That's what I'm trying to say here. So I'm going to run this. So let's see what our answer is going to look like. So here I have it saying value is greater than 10. So I've used if statement. If else this. So it checks the condition and give you the answer. So most time we use the looping statement, we use if statement very, very well in our coding because it makes life very, very easy. There are so many other coding statements that you can use. We have do while, we have switch, we have break, we have a whole lot of them. But by and by we'll get there. But based on what we are doing now, we'll take it bit one after the other. Moving on from here, I want to do another example for us. So I'm going to comment out this. I'm going to do another example for us. And that example should now make this looping statement, make it clear for us. Now let's look at this example. I'm going to paste it and I'm going to walk us through it. Now I declare an int. I call the first value, I call it 11. I declare the second one, I call it 12. Now I have two variables now. And I want to test with my looping statement. So my first statement said, I'm testing if value is equal to value 2. Now C is equal to the way we write it. If you are inside and if you are testing inside an if statement, we normally use double is equal to like this to like verifying if value is equal to, it's not going to be a single is equal to, it's going to be double. Unlike all this one, we are not assigning, now see this one, we are assigning 11 to value, but this one you are not assigning, we are verifying. So the double is equal to is what we use. Value is equal to value 2. That is the one we want to test. Because up here we have 11, we have 2. They are not equal to themselves, but we let's use code to verify. So I'm going to do an if statement. So I do an if statement for the first one. I said you should write value is same as value 2 is same as value 1. If this condition is correct, if it's correct, Now, if that condition is not correct, you should jump to the next line. And what is that next line? You should jump to write value is different from value 2. You should jump. So it's verifying value 1 and value 2 to know what you is going to pick. So I'm going to uncheck this. Now, if I run this now, look at, I'm working with value. I did not put the figure itself. So system should be able to go and pick the figure, replace it, and do the verification and tell me my answer. So I'm going to run with this now, with this second assignment, second example, and let's see if we are going to get our answer as we're supposed to get it. Now, if I check this out, it said value is different from value 2. So that means our verification is correct. Because value 1 is 11, value 2 is 12. They are different. So it will verify, and if else, then it will just do what it's supposed to do. I'm going to close out of this, and I'm not going to now give us something to check what we have been doing. So we are creating a new project, form sample. So I just want to put form the same way we did it initially when we are running when we want to start the application, form sample. So now navigate back to your folder, create a folder inside that place, call it form sample, but don't put underscore this time around, the same way we did in the morning. So just do the same way. So I've navigated back to my folder. This is my folder. I've seen my code sample. So you now create a folder there. You will call it form sample. Don't put space. Form sample. Form sample. I'll select it. So I'll see my PacersHub is my main folder. I've seen form sample. I'm creating a new project. That solution must be create new project. Create new project. So, and I'm calling the name form sample. I want to remove underscore away. When you are done that, just click on create and let your .NET roll and create the form for you. And let's try out some of the code we've done over there. This is our form. From this is our page. What I want you to do is that when you look at the left side, you see something called tools. Click on that tools. Click on the tools. And pin it down. There's a pin up there. There's something pin up there. Pin it down. So what I want you to click on, you now click on the all window forms. There's an arrow beside all window form. The one on top there. All window forms. There's an arrow beside it. Check the arrow. It will drop all the forms, all the tools for you. I try to reduce the size of this. I reduce it down. You can reduce the size. This is my arrow here. You do the size in a little way so as to be more meaningful for me. Now, what I need here, I need some variable. I want to put it. The first one on top is if you look at your tool, there's something called combo box. Under your tool, combo box. Combo box, I double click on the combo box, and I have this combo box here. I just do a double click. I have a combo box. Now, that is the first one, combo box, double click on it to come to the screen. Now, from my tool again, I scroll down, there's something called label. I double click on the label, something called label. If you scroll down, I double click on the label. The label will appear on the screen. I drag it down a little bit. Now, after the label, I'll go again, there's something called text box. I'll scroll down, text box. Text box. I double click on the text box. Text box come on the screen. Then I'll adjust it. I will draw it to make it big, to the size of the first one. Text box. Okay. So I go again, I go and pick the label. I pick on the label again. I pick on the label again. I double click on the label. I'll draw it under the first label. I'll go and pick the text box again. Text box, I double click on it. I take it. So now what we now have now is that we have buttons. So I'll check my tool. There's something called buttons there. I have buttons there. I'll double click, I have 3 buttons. I'll double click it in 3 times. So I have 3 buttons, I have my 3 buttons on the screen. Just double click button there, like 3 times. So you can have all the buttons that you need. This is button 1. I have button 2. I have button 3. So I have all my buttons on the screen. You can make them big if you like. Anyhow you want it. You are designing your form. You can make them big if you like. All right, so I just did that. So the last one is something change. Okay, that is all. So I've put all the variables that I need on the form, all of them. What I need to do is to begin to change their name to fit into what I have. Let me add something. The combo box I have on top, let me bring another label for it, so that I want to bring a label for the combo box I have on top. Okay. So after redesigning the form like this, so I've changed the age. The label of age, I've changed it. I went to text. Under text, I was able to change the label name. Text, I changed it to age. Now, for the text box, 2 things important. The first one is the text. I'll scroll down. I have to click on the text box I want to work on, click on it, then come back to the label. I'll scroll down to where I'm going to see text, must be empty. Name, I changed it to TXT age. That's what I did. I've changed that one. So let me now pick on the button. For button, you change 2 things as well. I click on first button. For the first button, you look for text first. I look for text first. Under the text, that is the text name. I call it something, I call it clear. The text name will show on top of the button. The text will show on top of the button. I call it clear. It will show. So I click it again. I've changed the text. I have to go and change the name. I'll change the name. Name, I'm going to change it to, because it's a button, I'll change it to CMD clear. That is for the button. So for button, I change 2 things. I change the text. Under text, I change it to clear. And I come to name. I change name to CMD clear. I click on the second button. Second button, I'll look for the text first. I'll change the text to confirm. I'll change it to confirm. That's the text. I'll change it to confirm. So I'll go back, I'll go down to where the name is. I'll scroll down. I'll go and look for name. That's where I'm going to see name. So under name, I'll change the name. I'll change it to CMD confirm. That is designing. I've changed that one as well. I'll come to the last one, which is our text box, the big text box. I've changed it. So this text box now, I'm going to look for 2 things again. The first one is the text. The text must be empty. The text is empty. That's fine. And I'll go and look for the name. The name is now TXT. It's a text. TXT message. That is the name. TXT message. That is the name. So I've changed all of them. Then I can click on save. I'll save all of them. Now that we have our code, like our form like this, well labeled and well designed, now we want to put our code somewhere behind it. What you need to do is that you come to this your confirm button. Confirm button, listen to me, confirm button, double click on it. So this is the form I'm having. I'm having this form. So from here now, if you double click on your confirm button should give you something at the back here. Private, void, confirm, underscore click. That's what you should have. But I'm having something different, don't worry. So what I want to do next is I want to paste that code. The code I have that I use to do the whole thing. I paste the code here. So I'm going to highlight the code. I want to confirm the code. I want to bring it up. Okay, I'll bring the code up. Now, see, okay, let me collapse this again so we can have our screen to ourselves. At this point, I want you to look at the screen very well. So I can interpret. I want to do some adjustment. What we have here is variable. But what we have now, we have form. So I need to adjust this thing to the form that we have now. So let's see what we're going to do. We have age being declared as 17 here, and we test the age here. So I'm going to assume that somebody will click his own age here, instead of me declaring 17 at the back. So I'm going to come here. I call this one txt age. So I will come to the back here. I'm going to declare something here. I'm going to declare age. I will not make it 17. I will say age is equal to txt age that I use in the front dot text, because it's a text dot text. So now what this one is telling the system is that okay, because it's the text, it's complaining, it's telling me I need to convert the text. Okay, I can do conversion now. Now this one is telling me that anything anybody puts in the front that is text, and in that text name, it will give it back to this age, and age will use it to verify. That is for the 17. Now I'm going to make the second age my standard. I make that one 17. That's my standard. Okay, so in that case, I'm going to change this. Okay, let me do a change here. I'm going to make this one age 2. I think we are correct now. Now it's complaining here because what is coming from the front is a text box. Now, what you need to do is that you go to Google and say how to convert a text box to an integer. You see the code that will help you to convert that. I will not be doing that because I know the code already. I'll do a convert. I'll do a convert dot to text. I'm going to do it to text integer. I know the code already, that I'm typing it. So this will help me to convert my integer. Anything I have my integer, because this is an integer is a string. And I want to give a string to an integer, a number, it will complain. Now, this form now, there are some checking I'm supposed to do. I'll leave all the checking for now. So I've input this as 17 as the standard. Now, on the standard programming, I'm supposed to carry this age, take it out, so that we can have something to test. I'm going to put it here, but I will not bother you about all those ones. So we are testing age as against this. Now, instead of us to display our age, on console, we are not doing console again now. I'm going to remove all the console away. Console, we are not on the console app now. I'm going to give this one to our text message, txt message dot text. It's a text. You have to dot it to text. Is equal to this. That's what I'm going to do. I just edit that. So the same thing I'm going to do for the second one. So I just did some simple changing. Dot text. I'm going to remove this away. That's fine, I've done. So we are not going to use this at all again. We're not going to use this again. So this is our code that will make us to use that form. I've removed everything, console, read. You don't need anything console because we have a form now. So I'm going to save this. Now, after saving this, let's run our code and see. Now, in running code now, there are so many ways of running code. I can step through. But let me first of all run the code first and see what we are going to have. Maybe you are not going to have this. We don't have any syntax error now. It didn't underline anything. So let's see if we are not going to have any logic error. So I'll come here, I'll click on start. It will build the code for me, and my form will come out. So you're going to have something like this as your form. So I want to type in 12 or 13. So let me confirm, 13. You can see, I can vote if age is greater than 17. It's telling you can only vote if your age is greater than 17. Now let me try and put like 20 there. Let's see what happens. And I say confirm. It's saying you cannot vote if your age is less than 13. Now, this is a syntax error. This code is trying to tell us something, the syntax error. But now let me just do a quickly check and put the message very well. So if our age, which is 17, if our age 2 is less than this, that means the message should be you can not vote. So I may want to put comma, and I said wait for your time. Wait for your time. And that your time is wait for your time till you are 18. So wait for your time till you are 18. That is the code. Now the second one, let me edit that one. That one can now be congrats, you can vote. That one say congrats, you can vote. So let me test the 2 now. Let me test the 2. Okay, this is error. I've seen one error somewhere. Let me edit. Let me edit this. So let me test this 2 code now. Let me test this now. Let me start to save it from automatically. So I want to bring my form here. Let me say I'm 23. Confirm. It said congrats, you can vote. That's 23. So let me say I'm 10 years old. And I said confirm. It said you cannot vote. Wait for your time till you are 18. So put any number here. If I put 100, it's going to work with 100. Put any figure. Put 1,000. You're going to work with it, even though you now have to set the limit. If somebody is maybe higher than 70, you can tell 70 and above, tell them go and sit down at home. No something. So it just tells the computer what you want computer to display. So see, I want to do a test. If age 2 that is coming, age 2 is greater than 80. If age 2 is greater than 80, system should just tell whoever is the person if it's greater than 80. So I'm going to copy the text box. Let me copy the text box and I'll put it here. So I didn't complete this very well the other time. Let me complete it now. If you say T, you should tell the, say you are a senior uh, you are a senior person, a senior citizen. So you're a senior person, you can rest at home. You're a senior citizen, you can rest at home. So if it's greater than 80, or let me see greater than or equal to 80. So else, if it's less than 80, you will do all this further thing. So let me save this and let's check. So let's see if the system is going to take care of that. Let me say I'm 80 now, and I say confirm. Okay, let me say I'm 81. Let's see what we are going to have. Okay, I'm having logical error. Now let's test the logical error. If this is greater than, now if you want to step to check your logical error, I will come up here. I will come and put a dot here. I'll put a dot here. I want to test the logical error. Logical error can be critical. Let's see. That means I want to step through my code. Why is it not working? Why is it not giving me what I want? So I put 82 and I say confirm. It will load me back to my code. This is me. It's blinking here. So up here there is a sign that look like this. Arrow look like this. Or I press F10. If I'm clicking it, it will be moving one by one. So here I can see what my text is 82. I can see it. Okay, my text is 82. This is 8. So I can see. So I can step through my code one by one. Now, if age 2 is greater or equal to 80, of course, it should. But I've seen the error myself. The error is, let me just stop it. I've seen the error. The error is the code will work, but I did not put else. That is my error. So I'm supposed to put something on top here, else. That is just the error. So I'm going to stop this now. I'm going to remove the breaking step through because I've seen the error myself, and I jumped this. So the code work, but it now still run the other one that is down there. Else will make it just stop wherever you put it. So if I put 80 now, if I say confirm, say you are a senior person, you should go and rest at home. With that else alone, this is incorrect. So I was able to step through. I know it read that line, but it didn't jump. He went through other ones, so he was able to give me the error. So if I put 79 now should give me congrats. So this is a simple code. I just adjust the code we did on console. I put it on the form, and this is fine. This is a very simple code. I know by now you should understand this very well. All right, so let me clear the text boxes. If I double click on clear now, double click, it's going to give me CMD clear. That's what I was telling you that you will have. So I'm going to clear my text boxes. Each time I click on that box, age.text is equal to, this is clear. I've just cleared it like that, putting empty figure. Now, I want to clear my message as well. Dot text. So I said is equal to empty variable. So I send it. So with this now, I've cleared it. Each time I click on it, it will clear it for me. So now let me run the code again. I display a value and I'm going to clear it. Let's see what we are going to have. All right. So I put 2034 there. It gives me the answer. If I click on the clear, it wipes them away. So I can put another person 76. I put this, I clear it away. So as many as I can easily confirm it for them. This is a simple application and we are fine. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much.